Chatty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the PODCAst, tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinger splash straight to the face. I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chatty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chatty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Wrasslin. I'm the POT alongside my tag team partner, Big E, and we're here to bring you another episode of premium wrestling content. What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, we here.
It's Stogie Saturday. Yeah, man, we back like Jordan with the 4-5, man.
4-5.
Welcome to Wrasslin. Yeah, man, what's going on? Been we 1 week away from the 1 week after the Royal Rumble. Let me fix that. Right, we know our winners. We don't know who's going to be facing who yet, but we're waiting in anticipation to find out. I do want to say, man, especially on Raw when Jey Uso came out, you know, just to address the crowd and stuff and got emotional and stuff, man. Just, you know, we sit there and talked about was it going to be his time, and you know, he's had these, you know, these few title matches that he's had and stuff like that, but it's getting real now. You know what I mean? He's in the main event WrestleMania, probably the second night. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, but I like how he addressed Cody. He addressed Gunther. You know, he had made his mind up. Charlotte, she went to NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. You know, so yeah, man. So, yeah, man, fun things are coming up. It's getting exciting. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We got the Elimination Chamber. After the Elimination Chamber, that's in 2 weeks. After the Elimination Chamber, you know, WrestleMania, Las Vegas is next.
Absolutely.
So it's getting down to the nitty gritty.
Well, you know, when Raw and SmackDown start having the WrestleMania logo high above the ring, you know that's officially the road to WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah.
And I know we talked about the Rumble. Can't say enough about it. It was a great event from top to bottom. Both Rumble matches pretty good. The men's 2025 Rumble is arguably the best Royal Rumble I've ever seen. You know, with the star power and the different stories that resurfaced, and with Jey Uso winning main event, Jey Uso, that I'm still geeked about that. So yeah, as far as Raw and SmackDown, you know, they're pretty status quo. You know, it's the smoke cleared a little bit from the Rumble. You know, they had a couple of matches that they had that transpired with the Rumble, like for example, Tozawa against Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown and stuff like that. You know, so they had to, you know, kind of fill in some blanks and stuff. But as far as the Chamber, man, look like it's going to shape up to be a pretty good card. Right now, currently, we have John Cena, CM Punk qualified, Drew McIntyre qualified. Next week on Raw, Rey Mysterio and Logan Paul.
That's going to be good.
Go ahead in the qualifying match. And then you got the triple threat on SmackDown with Braun Strowman, the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu, and Damian Priest. That should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely rolling with Jacob on that one. I tell you what, getting back to Jey Uso though, all week you know, seeing all the podcasts he's been on and everything, like, you know, it's good. Like you've seen him on TV so many times, but when they get on that podcast and different podcasts and different streaming services, and you know, you start to really figure out who they are and start really see the real them. You know what I mean? So I've enjoyed it this week.
Absolutely.
I've really enjoyed
Absolutely.
it. I've
Absolutely.
enjoyed every
Couldn't be
interview.
more happier for that guy, man.
Right, and just really deserves it. Like I say, he's been the most over guy for the last, you know, year almost.
Right.
So yeah, so man, you know, kudos to him, man. And I'm pulling for him now. No matter who it is, I want to see him go crazy. You know,
Absolutely.
WrestleMania, holding the title in there with everybody running out there at the end, and you know, all his family and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Got to ask you one question.
Okay.
What is that? I Show Speed, that's his name.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen that spear this week?
You want the honest truth, not one time, because once was all I needed to see. I saw it live during the Rumble. I mean, we're wrestling fans, and we seen that spear thousands of times.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, it was I Show Speed, but that's not my speed. So
Right.
I didn't have to go on social media and watch it. But it had like 350 million views or something crazy like that.
I don't know. I've looked at
That's
it
unbelievable.
I've showed everybody that I've been around it. You know, if we got to talk about wrestling or this and that, you know, no, man, check this out, because absolutely one of the best and most violent spears that I've ever seen. And the way he came down, like that was textbook football tackle.
Right.
Run straight through him and then bring all your weight down on top of it. You know what I mean? And I mean to tell you, bro, textbook. But anyway, but
I definitely have a different kind of respect for that dude, though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
yeah. He feeling it right now.
right.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He's feeling it now. He is feeling it now. Well, before we jump into the deep dive, we just want to thank everybody for tuning in, everybody that keeps showing up, that keeps liking, all our subscribers, all the new subscribers. We just getting started. This is just episode 7. And
right.
We're looking for our first milestone, which is 100 subscribers. You know, that'll be our first
60 right now. So
right. That'll be our first milestone that we celebrate on here, besides, you know, finally debuting and putting it out. But everything's coming along. We got the best intro and theme song in the game. I don't give a damn what nobody say. We're good. So remember, if you got any questions, you want to be a guest on the show, you want us to talk about anything, give us some ideas, hit us up, w2wrasslin@gmail.com. That's W2 wrasslin@gmail.com. And we are them wrestling boys. And we're going to jump into it. Episode 7, 90's Heels. Going back, doing another deep dive into 90's Heels, and we're about to jump into it. I'm going to start it off with the very best heel and the greatest of all time. And I'm going to go Ric Flair. I'm going to start it off with Flair for the end of the Horsemen in the the early 90s, before he went to WWF. Went to WWF as the Real World's Champion, was a major heel there the whole time he was there. Not one face turn, nothing. Won the Rumble. Was what did he come in at, number 3?
Number 3.
Yeah, came in at number 3. Pushed Hogan and Sid out, or pushed Sid out. Hogan helped win the title with a tear in my eye. But yeah, Ric Flair, man, I don't think we don't have to spend a lot of time on him. One day we're gonna do. there's plenty of topics that we're going to talk about that have him involved, but you can't not mention him. Wanted to go ahead and mention him, the greatest of all time, get him out the way. It was a heel when he came back he was a face for about a week when he came back after he came back to WCW after being WWF, and then turned on Sting for like the whatever 12th, 13th, 15th time, But yeah, the 90s, a good part of the time before the NWO came, top heel, most hated, one of the most hated wrestlers.
And he did the stuff with Hogan and Savage, in the 90s. When Hogan and Savage both went to WCW.
Right. Like I say, he was top heel
Nacho Man and
the Huckster.
Yeah, the Huckster and Nacho Man, and
with
WCW pulled that trigger on that match that should have been WrestleMania 8 main event, Hogan and Flair. But the thing about Nate, though, just like you said, we can talk about him anytime, and we will a lot. But the thing about Nate is that he was a major factor in many different decades.
70s,
like I said, we had the 80s,
90s,
70s, 80s,
2000s,
90s, so
40 years strong, relevant for 40 years.
Right.
Right.
So so shout out to Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Absolutely.
Again, like I said, I agree with you. He's
probably listening right now. He's listening right now, dog.
Well, we need him to get him on the show,
Right.
But he's number one on my list as well. So definitely. And there again, we already did our deep dive in the Horsemen, different eras of the Horsemen. There's no Horseman without Ric Flair and Double Arn Anderson. But Ric Flair is the face of that, no matter what. So shout out Ric Flair.
Right. Without Flair, there's nobody to protect being the champ. You know what I mean? There, like you say, without them, there is no Horseman.
Plus, he's the last traveling world champion.
Right.
In NWA, shortly after that, of course, with Jim Crockett, they got real big with the TV on TBS, and then of course Turner ended up buying them out, and they became WCW, especially in the era of the 90s. So but Nature Boy Ric Flair definitely should deserve to be the first one called out on this list.
Yeah, so shout out to Nature Boy Ric Flair, one of our all-time favorites. And man. So throw one out there. 90s heels. And we're not going to just, it's all over. ECW, WCW, WWF. Throw something out there for us.
Well, this is my favorite 90s heel, Big Van Vader. I tell you what, bro. And many other people that walk the halls of Marietta High School knew that I was a big Van Vader fan. I mean, the dude, like them forearms, them Vader blows.
Yeah.
A lot of people that called me shit pot walk around that hall got dealt with some Van Vader blows. But as far as Van Vader, super duper heel, big old monster of a man, wore the mask, had the big, he even came to the ring with that big shoulder pad looking thing, that blue smoke and stuff, which was one of the coolest things I ever seen. A wrestler ever come to the ring.
Especially when he first started, he would dance around it, do that dance. Yeah, that was so cool.
And he's very athletic, doing moonsaults and stuff. We didn't see nothing like that from no 450-pound man. Andre wasn't doing the moonsault. I mean, of course, they were built different as well. But I'm just saying, like, we ain't see no 400-pound. Yeah, I mean, now Bigelow was very athletic as well. Shout out Bam Bigelow, rest in peace. Rest in peace Vader as well. But he still, like, Vader did moonsaults, bro.
Right.
Moonsault. Had one of the most vicious power bombs.
Oh,
I mean, dude,
he used to do that that thing on the ropes when he would jump up and then push himself backwards and do the splash. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But those
Yeah, he
gloves,
was
man, those gloves he used to wear, bro. And they
man.
say they used to stink too. Because he was sweating so much and
Yeah,
not
yeah. They said he
washing.
didn't like to watch his gear. Yeah, they said he
Right.
didn't even watch none of his
Right.
gear. He just
That was
thumped the
another
slide,
reason why
the
he
thump
was a
factor.
heel.
Man,
That's another reason why he was a heel. Oh man.
uh, big in Japan.
Mhm.
Japan like them big, like the Stan Hansons, the Terry
Yeah,
Gordys, the Bam Bam Big. They like those big American heel guys, Bruiser Brody, and he
right.
fit right in, man. Was an IWGP champion and all kinds of stuff, man. So multiple
Yeah.
time world champion.
World
Uh, my
champion.
only
Yeah.
my only thing with Vader is I didn't like his WWE run.
The water
Now
down. Yeah.
now he was probably, I mean, he was a little past his prime by the time he got to WWE, but the booking that they had with him was like they'll have him booked with the stars like Bret Hart and Undertaker and all those guys, but they really like it wasn't a good look,
Yeah.
at that time
It's
because they
more
really
watered,
wasn't.
more watered down,
He
you know.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of pacified him.
Yeah, but to me, that always goes back to Vince not being real fans of characters that he didn't create,
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
and we've heard that 1,000 times. It's not nothing we're sitting here making up or nothing. You've heard it 1,000 times. It's just not big on guys that are characters that get over that he didn't create.
Right,
So you look at something with Vader that he created,
right,
and it really got over, like you say, in WCW world champ. He wasn't a champ in WWF and could have been a champ. He could have ran with that
right.
team and had a good run, you know.
Especially that year, '97, and
Yeah.
that, yeah,
And he looked and Vince, yeah. I was about to say Vince loves big guys, but I didn't want to, no. We don't want to say nothing crazy with all the speculation going on with him and all them lawsuits and all that stuff.
uh, him and Diddy, uh, they probably be at the same party.
Right. All right. Well, let me throw one out there. I'm gonna go HBK, and you talk about HBK throwing Marty Jannetty through the glass heel
Greatest
turn.
heel turn ever.
Right. You never seen nothing on TV like that, especially on WWF TV. You saw some
Boy,
some some
right,
stuff, but you never seen anything like that. And they weren't going crazy like that on the show. You know what I mean? Yeah, you did
right.
the Macho Man getting bit by the snake and all that stuff, but that throwing somebody through some glass, there a problem with the Rockers? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
So when he had the heel run with Sherry Martel and of course with Sid and Kevin Nash and all them had face turns in them, but the DX era, that heel turn, it's not much that compares to that.
Right.
Just the most obnoxious, just an asshole, to the fullest.
Yeah, he was a heel for real
Right.
backstage.
Like I'm talking about on screen. I'm not even
Yeah,
gonna
but I'm
touch the
saying
backstage
yeah,
part. I ain't gonna even touch
well,
that.
yeah, well, that's all a part of it.
Right. But I'm saying you don't even have to. The stuff that he did on screen
Right,
was so gratuitous and so just out there and not giving a damn. Like you don't even have to get
right,
into that part,
right,
but definitely had a lot of heat with a lot of the boys. And like this is all, known information, but yeah, it was not liked at all, but was respected because he was he was the one out there putting on the 5-star matches, and and everybody knew he could go, but nobody liked him. Of course, you had the click or
Right.
whatever, but and them guys stayed, to themselves. But I tell you what, DX, HBK, and early 90s HBK, some of the best heel stuff you'll ever see. I mean, stuffing the socks in your Speedo, damn near Speedo shorts, and just jumping in JR's face just the whole interview, just crotch chopping him, before they was even doing it like that.
Right.
And man, just the stuff that was said and done. And bro, the strip poker thing on Raw that night was ridiculous.
Well, I
Absolutely
like that. Even
ridiculous.
what they did with Sergeant Slaughter when they
Oh,
had
bro.
the,
The
and but
welder,
of
the
course
the
we know.
welder's mask on with the windshield wipers on him because he's supposed to spit every time he talks. When they put them things on, they were like, "Hold on!" They're like, "Now we're ready."
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, we should have had that clip pulled up. But and even the thing when Vince called him in there and showed him the thing that they got from the USA Network, and
Right,
then end
right.
up making fun of it at the end, bro. Bro, that stuff was hilarious. I love looking at that stuff. We should have had some clips on here. We're gonna get better,
Uh,
y'all. But
you know, the thing with HBK though, and I'm speaking for myself, is I was a huge HBK fan. Now, when they was with the Rockers, okay, another tag team, athletic tag team. But when
right,
he made that heel turn, like you said, at the barbershop in Bruce Beefcake's barbershop, and threw him through the window, that I immediately became a HBK fan.
right,
I just like the whole thing. I like the whole arrogance, and he was with Sherry, and he
right.
changed up, his ring gear, and he really like turned it up a notch.
When
And
he used
I
to carry
became an
that mirror
HBK
around
fan
and look at
immediately.
himself right before the matches and stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. He was yeah, can't say enough about HBK, arguably the greatest in-ring performer ever in the wrestling business.
Right. And I understand why they say that, but I hate hearing that sometimes because it automatically thinks that he can't talk. And he can. He's good on the mic too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I
but
don't know where you kind of got that narrative, but I don't. I never looked
that's
at it
what it
that way.
sounds like when I hear it. But when you look at his work in the ring, it outshines anything else he could do anyway. So
Right.
but yeah. Yeah, we'll throw one out, bro.
I'm going with Sid Vicious. Now, Sid, you know, we hear the rumors, we hear the podcast, we hear the shoot interviews.
R.I.P.
Softball
Sid.
Sid was a thing.
Yeah.
Softball Sid was a thing. So Sid never really stayed with one company for a long period of time. He bounced around a lot. But every time, whether he was in WWF or WCW or in Memphis, wherever he was at, he was a major factor immediately. One of the best looking, like far as just wrestlers in general, like his look, he had one of the best looks ever. He was tall, but dude was built like his traps was so huge. Like dude just looked
Bro, he looked
like
like
if you think of a
a house with
wrestler,
legs.
yeah, yeah, he right. If you put a wrestler in the dictionary, you could put a picture of Sid and be like, okay, I see what
Right.
y'all talking about. Sid,
Well,
now wasn't the greatest promo, but he could do a promo.
right.
And the faces he used to make and that laugh, like he was really psycho. Like he
Yeah.
lived up to that whole psycho persona. And again, he had a power bomb, a vicious power bomb, and was a loose cannon. Loose cannon. Sid was definitely one of my favorite heels of the 90's.
I'll make a bold statement here.
Okay.
Now, Sid was the man that ruled the world. And it's funny we're talking about Sid because earlier I seen a clip from when he taking on Cronus in ECW.
I saw that one.
When he choke slammed right through the table on the outside.
Right. Them chair shots was whack though.
Oh yeah. They was like some Hogan chair shots or Nia Jax.
Yeah.
But
don't go there.
yeah. But I want to say Sid was almost like a Stone Cold before Stone Cold. And the only reason I say that,
I got you.
I'm not talking about the popularity but he was supposed to be a heel.
But they cheer for him.
They cheer for him. Because it was kind of hard not to, because one thing is Sid, one thing he did do was play to the crowd.
Right.
He could get that crowd hyped up. Now, he was a big time heel. Well, he was a heel everywhere. He was a heel in ECW coming out with the Judge and all that stuff.
Right.
But everybody went crazy,
Right.
Powerbomb. Then they want to do it again. And then he's fist bumping everybody going down. Dude, Sid was the creator of the
that was
fist
even
bump.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know, so
seriously, he was fist bumping in the 90s. Like, who does that? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man. R.I.P. Sid, but absolutely one of the best heels of the 90s.
Former world champion.
Everywhere.
Both. Yeah. Yeah.
He's one of the guys that had it both places.
Right.
There ain't too many.
No.
There ain't too many. You got your Hogans, you got your Macho Mans,
Flairs.
Yeah. Sid. But ain't too many you can think of. Diesel, Kevin Nash.
Right.
He had a title both places, but there's not too many people that have done that.
Right. I agree.
Especially, but the funny thing is, like, none of those guys had the WCW title first except for Flair. Flair is the only one. Everybody else was WWF champion first. You know what I'm saying?
Then they went over there.
Yeah. Right. Right. Because if it would have been anybody but Flair, they probably would have never had that title if they was the champ over here. If they was the champ in WCW, they probably wouldn't have been the champ over there in WWE. You know what I'm saying? Not too many. Well, Chris Benoit. He had both of them.
Fact. That's true.
And that was big. We go away from what happened. We just talking about wrestling.
Right.
But his guy, like, HBK stood over Chris Benoit.
Oh, your boy.
Height wise.
Goldberg had WCW first, then he ended up getting in WWE later.
Bret Hart.
But he was WWF first, though.
Oh, yeah, but I would say he had both.
True.
Yeah.
But I know it pains you to even bring him up. We brought up Goldberg and Bret Hart in the same sequence. Man, we need to do better.
I'm not even motivated about finishing the show. Cut. So after that, we'll go into someone else. I'm going to go into a faction because this whole faction were all major heels.
Right.
So, and we can really start. So I'm going to go with a Dangerous Alliance.
Yes, sir.
WCW. You had Stunning Steve Austin before he was Stone Cold. You had Rick Rude.
Right.
You had Larry Zbyszko, R. Anderson, and Bobby Eaton, and Medusa.
Right.
So we can just start off with Stunning Steve. Because when he came to WWF, he was supposed to be a heel.
Right.
And then he, after the Bret Hart match, you know what I'm saying, when he passed out with
WrestleMania 13.
Yeah. After that, it was a wrap. There was no more heel for him.
Right.
until he aligned himself with McMahon. So,
Right.
but yeah, so
4 years later.
right, but we're gonna stick with Stunning Steve Austin. Stunning Steve with the Dangerous Alliance, just in WCW period, major heel. Had some classics with Sting for the TV title. Him and Brian Pillman doing the Hollywood Blonde stuff. Bro, they were hilarious. You know, when they used
That's one of my favorite tag teams.
right. But they were hilarious. They do some they were you know, who was that? They feuded with Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat for the tag titles.
Right.
Excuse me. But and then when he went to ECW after he got fired after getting hurt, that right there really catapulted him. Then just them couple of weeks being there, there were some of the best promo work that he's ever done, and that's including in WCW. You know, it was like that was almost like a place where you could just let go and
Right.
be who you want to be and try to practice this, practice that. Brian Pillman, you know, we'll go back to Dangerous Alliance in a second, but you know, we're gonna jump off such real quick. Brian Pillman was already doing the loose cannon thing. When he showed up at ECW, you never seen him act anywhere like that. And then carried it
Right.
Carried it right on to WWE.
Right.
You know. But yeah, Dangerous Alliance, Double A, you know, as long as he's a horseman, he's a heel, except for them few couple of week face runs they had. That lasted a couple of weeks. But you know, Zbyszko, especially in WCW, he was a bad guy always. Do the pile driver, you know, he had Medusa with him mainly, and then him and Double A were the tag team, the Enforcers.
Right.
But then they had Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, who was definitely a heel.
Right.
Heel manager, heel announcer, and then he had the talk show, the Danger Zone. You know,
Well, you know, you also
talk about a trendsetter.
mentioned Medusa.
Mm.
Medusa, you know, you remember she threw that belt in a trash can.
Yeah, she's ultimate
Super
heel for doing that.
move.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, definitely, Dangerous Alliance definitely was major because you know that was the Four Horsemen wasn't a thing at that point. You know, and then Rick Rude just left WWF.
Right.
You know, and feuded with Sting and others, but super major feud with Sting. The whole Dangerous Alliance is almost like the Four Horsemen and Dusty all over again.
Right.
Where just like one group just kind of terrorized
one person.
The main baby face. And I mean, it was definitely like that. You know,
Right.
I definitely was a big fan of Dangerous Alliance because
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I love Double A Arn Anderson. Beautiful Bobby is one of the greatest tag team wrestlers ever. That whole faction. I like Stunning Steve. And this is, again, like I said, this is before the Stone Cold stuff. I like Stunning Steve when he was Stunning Steve, you know, then. So that's a good look for far Dangerous Alliance. They definitely deserve to be on this list.
Absolutely. All of them. Yeah.
Well, since you want to do factions, we can't do 90s without mentioning the NWO. And now everybody knows the NWO is one of the greatest factions ever. It really, when you want to talk Attitude Era, I know we talking 90s, but Attitude Era is kind of like the later part of the 90s. But if you want to talk Attitude Era, NWO is really what spearheaded that, because they made WWE or F at the time, like that DX stuff came like right after that. You know, it was like they had to step their game up. They made WWF get stopped with the whole cartoon stuff and got more real because NWO made it real. And of course, I mentioned HBK, my opinion, the greatest heel turn ever. But let's be real.
Right.
We know what as far as the impact, Hulk Hogan heel turn was that thing. And when we first seen Scott Hall come out there, they made it look real. Like he came in the middle of a match. It was two. I forgot who was Bloom, the guy that used to be in the construction crew or the Beverly Brothers, or he was like wrestling somebody. I don't remember who. No disrespect to those guys, but they wasn't no major players at that time with
What you
that
call
company.
it?
Scott Hall came, huh?
That's messed up right there, dog. I know exactly what you're talking about too, because I can see him right now.
Wayne Bloom or something.
Yeah, and I think Colonel Rob Parker was out there with one of them.
So Hall came middle of the match, like to a point where they even stopped wrestling when he came out there.
Right.
And you know who I am and all this and that, and
but you
they
don't
made it
know
look
why I'm here. Yeah.
right. They made it look so real, like it was just like what the hell's going on,
Right.
So and then of course everybody know the story. Nash came the next week, and we got a third member, and of course most people know the backstory behind that because they wasn't sure if Hogan was going to do it. They had Sting that was going to go ahead and do it. It makes you wonder though, like what would have happened if it was Sting instead of Hogan? Uh, would it have worked as good as it did? I mean, I think so because Sting's a super duper baby face, but we'll never know. So we may not have got the Crow Sting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So,
but you definitely wouldn't have still had the Surfer Sting. It would have been, you never know. And plus, Scott Hall was the one that came up with the Crow Sting. So
true.
You never know, but
But that whole the impact that they had, I just think that popular opinion, they got too watered down, man. It was like everybody became a part of NWO. So when I'm talking about this list, I'm going to bring up the ones like, okay, we got the Hogans, we got the Outsiders with Hall and Nash.
Yeah.
X-Pac or Six-Pac, but he was brief, but he was a six member. Remember, $1 Million Man was out there, even though he wasn't wrestling, more like a manager role.
Right.
The Giant, Big Show, but he was the Giant then.
Yeah.
But my favorite one, besides the three originals,
Virgil, Vincent. That was
Vincent. Yeah, rest in peace to that guy, by the way.
Right.
But Scott Steiner really changed his career when he changed his look. He turned on his brother.
Mm-hmm.
He got the whole superstar Billy Graham thing going on.
Right.
And
became Big
then
Papa
he got
Pump.
better with his promos. Became Big Papa Pump, the Big Bad Booty Daddy. Like that whole NWO run for him, like really put his career in a different trajectory. Like he really, became world champion later on with that company. So he, that his whole look, the blonde hair, of course, the superstar Billy Graham thing, got bigger. He was already a beast, but it's like, damn, dude, what you really been doing? Muscles on top of muscles. But when I think of NWO, I can't help but you think of Hogan, Hall and Nash.
Yeah.
But to me, out of all the other members, they had a bunch of members: Buff Bagwell, Scott Norton, even Stevie Ray was a member of NWO at one time. Great Muda. Yeah. Well, they had in Japan, which they kind of Bischoff even admitted that he kind of stole that idea from those guys. Even though they wasn't NWO yet, and then they became NWO because of the NWO over here. But he said he kind of got that idea from over there in Japan. But I mean, it was just crazy, man. You know what I mean? But I think of like Scott Steiner. To me, he wasn't just in the background,
No,
and that's including Macho and all of them.
right.
He was like, when they was all in the ring and they were cutting their promos, they gave him the mic too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I think it's a lot of guys really, got some success for being in NWO. You look at it like Scott Norton. Scott Norton was a tag team guy, a arm wrestling champion,
true,
mid Carter.
right,
So
right,
he's out there every night at the end of the show beating up somebody or running from Sting.
right,
Virgil. You know,
right,
like you say, R.I.P. But damn, like that's one. And they do it as a joke, not a joke to
right,
him, but you know, it's crazy because it was from what I heard, it was a shot at Dusty Rhodes when they named him Virgil. And then when they brought him over here, it was a shot at Vince, so they named him Vince.
right.
So, who knows? But anyway, Buff Bagwell, he became a star out of the NWO. NWO made him a star. He was already
Buff,
popular.
buff, buff the stuff.
Right. Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. R.I.P. Judy Bagwell. But yeah, man, you can't go wrong with the NWO, especially the heel stuff. The Hogan heel turn was crazy. Nobody thought they was gonna do that. Nobody thought he was gonna go out there and legs drop Macho Man. And if you want to hear you better tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say, brother. So, and then the next week came out there in that all black, which he had worn black before, when he was feuding with the Dungeon.
Yeah. Oh,
but this was different. This was different. And then I always refer to it as like the bad Superman when he grew the beard, because the bad Superman had the 5 o'clock shadow.
Right.
It's always like the beard was villainous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I always dug that, and
I'm a heel right now.
Right, me too. Yeah. But yeah, man, NWO was it was that one of those times where at our age we thought we knew it was predetermined. We starting to learn this, and this. Now we're starting to look at each other again like, is that for real? You know what I'm saying? Is that
you remember when they threw Rey Mysterio to that production truck when they he's a dart?
They called the police. The people around called the police. They thought it was a gang riot or something. Yeah.
Right. That's crazy.
Man, that's like you say, and that's when WWE had to be like, all right, well, no more repo mans and
Duke the dumpster Drosy.
Right. We're sorry, Brooklyn Brawler, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a wrap.
The clown.
Yes. That stuff was getting old. It was already old and outdated.
Yeah, it was.
And it was like, that's why it was, it was always hard to call WWE your favorite. You call it your favorite now because it's the best thing going on. But it was so cartoonish back then.
Yeah, it was.
And they still would do that. It bring us like the Boogeyman and, come on, man.
It couldn't help it, man.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit. We done talked to a couple of WWF guys and so I'm gonna talk ECW for a second when we talk about heel.
Okay.
And I'm going with the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
Most decorated tag team of all time.
Facts.
Okay, I'm not calling them the best. I'm calling them most decorated.
Facts.
Because the era that they came up in was a few more promotions than just 3 main ones.
Right. And
with
they held tag titles in all of them.
Right, New Japan. It wasn't just, so the stuff you've seen and heard from the interviews and the shoot videos that they started doing back in the day, that these guys almost started riots just with their promos with the fans. I saw it firsthand at the Cobb County Civic Center. You know what I'm saying? I saw it firsthand. I mean to tell you, they talk bad to you. And the stuff that they would do, putting their people through the tables and all that stuff. And even when they went to WWF, putting the women through the tables.
Them power bomb
Mae Young.
They power bomb Mae Young through table, bro. They you know what? Now the Dudleys, people who don't know, it wasn't. Now when they got to the WWE, we knew of the three, right? Of course, Devon, Bubba Ray, or Bully Ray, and then Spike. But they had like Big Dudley, and it was like 5 or 6 of them at first with ECW.
Let's just break it down real quick and tell you that Papa Dudley was supposed to be an old wrestler / jobber that would sleep with all the rats and have babies with all the rats in every town they went to. And that's where all the Dudleys came from. You had
explain to the people what are rats.
Rats are, as my son would say, dirty ladies that would follow the wrestlers around, like groupies to a certain extent.
Basically, like groupies for rappers and rock stars. They're groupies.
Right.
But wrestling terms, the wrestlers call them rats.
Right. So Papa Dudley spread his seed all over the territory. You know what I'm saying? So that's when you got, a black son, a white son, an Indian son. They had Devon Dudley, who was black, Bubba Ray Dudley, Sign Guy Dudley, Big Dick Dudley, the Indian dances with Dudleys.
Oh man.
So that was the story. But only three of them made it big. And that was Bubba Ray and Devon and Spike. But yeah, bro, they were something else. I mean to tell you, like, we'll get better as we go along about having some clips and stuff like this to show to the people. But go to YouTube, look up Dudley Boys at ECW. Go look at Dudley Boys Young. Do a deep dive of your own.
Shout out definitely Dudley's, but I want to give a special shout out to Bully Ray, because I really I'm a fan of Busted Open Radio.
Oh yeah.
I really think Bully Ray is a great wrestling mind. I really respect his opinions, not always agree, but he's talked so passionate about the business. And like when he break down a show or a match or whatever, I really like to listen to what he has to say, because the dude's got a great wrestling mind, great heel. Now I know we talk about the 90s and we brought them up in the 90s, but even the work he did as Bully Ray in TNA.
Oh, bro, that's some of his best stuff.
Yeah, when
that's
he
some
with
of his
Aces
best
and
stuff.
Eights and all that kind of stuff. Like, dude is Bully. I think he don't get the credit he deserves, bro. I'm just being real.
Yeah.
So shout out Bully Ray, man. If you can hear this, maybe not, but we got love for you, bro.
Absolutely.
Shout out Dudley's too. Like you said, most decorated. We ain't saying they the best tag team,
right?
Most decorated.
Right.
Look how they started. Like you said, it was a bunch of them, but they the ones that survived and made it to the next level.
And them two started off feuding against each other.
Right.
And then one day, you know, they had, hey, let us work together. And I mean, it worked. It definitely worked. It definitely worked. You want to throw about another one apiece?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next one, we can't forget this next one right here. Yokozuna.
Ooh.
And of course, for those of you that was not aware, Yokozuna, excuse me, is basically a title for the sumo wrestling champion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his wrestling name. Now, the funny thing about Yokozuna or Yokozuna, I mean, if I said it right or wrong, whatever, he was Samoan.
Right.
Wasn't even Japanese.
Rodney and Noah.
Right,
Anaoa, however you say it. But his first
right,
name was Rodney. Yeah.
right. He part of that family.
That's Samoan dynasty. Yeah.
With the Samoan dynasty.
Yeah.
Probably the first, and he wasn't the first one. You know, of course they had Alpha Sika. Of course Chief Peter Maivia. You know, it's a bloodline.
Right.
But he was the first that became a world champion.
Yeah. 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 He set the
And
tone.
he set the tone. And at the time was a super duper heel. Didn't really all he said was bonsai and Fuji was his mouthpiece. You
Right.
know, throw the salt in you, but very athletic. Nobody's seen a big man. You know, we talked about Vader earlier, but nobody's seen somebody. And Yoko was bigger than Vader, like
Right.
far as stature and weight.
Yeah. He was
And
a
now
big
he
dude.
wasn't doing moonsaults and stuff like Vader, but he was very athletic for his size.
Right.
And has some memorable matches with the Undertaker and others, Bret Hart. I still get sick to my stomach thinking about how they just took the title from him at WrestleMania 9 with the whole Hogan thing at the end. That was that that probably pissed me off more than the finger poke of doom.
Yeah.
Uh, because you didn't need to do that. Like, why would
Right.
you?
There was no need to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Hogan ended up leaving the company shortly after, but you hear the backstory that Hogan didn't want to drop the title to lose to Bret Hart and all this other stuff, which that's here he say, she say, we hear the same
Right.
things everybody else heard. But Yokozuna definitely deserved to be on this list because he was a major heel.
Yeah.
Even later, even like, when he tag team with Owen Hart, when Jim Cornette was their manager and stuff like that. Like, dude definitely had a pretty good run as a heel. Hell, he had 2 championship matches, WrestleMania 10. Remember they did a thing with the Lexus Press and all that.
Yeah.
Now he fought Luger. Was Kurt Hennig? Mr. Perfect was the special guest referee for that one. And of course, Brett fought Owen to start the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But he lost to Owen, but he still had that title match at the end. The winner of Lex and Yoko, of course, he faced Yoko, and he
Yeah.
basically got his win back. He lost to Yoko WrestleMania 9, but won the title WrestleMania 10. But Yokozuna definitely deserved to be on this list.
Yeah. Owen Hart could be on this list.
You damn right.
When he was the Black Heart, when he did that stuff with
Yeah,
a Nation of Domination.
yeah. Or hell, when they was the Hart Foundation,
Yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
year in '97.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
shout out RIP Owen Hart, man. But yeah, he deserves to be on this list. I think we got a few more. I think we keep going for a little bit. I'm gonna
All right.
go with I'm gonna go with we just added Owen Hart to the list. But you just made the list. Matter of fact, bam, there, Jericho.
Jericho.
And I'm even gonna say even WCW Jericho. Now,
Absolutely, bro.
there's stuff with the conspiracy theory and him going to Washington, D.C. and Ralphus and
Ralph is
bro.
the man of 1,004 holds.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Armbar.
Yeah, 137. Arm. With the commercial break came back, he's still on the list. That was hilarious, bro.
When he
Talk about mouthpiece, man. He
hold
was
on.
great, man.
Yeah,
Still is.
but learning tree. Hi guys. Hold on,
He
man.
making sure.
Let's go. We got you brought that up. The man of 1,000. So it was a wrestler called Dean Malenko, who was the man of 1,000 holds. He knew all these holds. So Chris Jericho, they were feuding. Jericho said he had to be the man of 1,004 holds. So one Monday night, he brought his list out there of his 1,004 holds that he moved. But every other move was armbar. So he was out there. One time he was like the Costachuan leg galore communication elevator. And the next was arm bar, arm drag. So that's what we're referring to.
Oh man.
Right.
Arm
Guys,
bar.
wrestling, that's why it's called sports entertainment. Because it's sports
Right.
and it's entertainment. But throw Jericho in the mix. And
Absolutely.
even with the stuff when he showed up at WWE, he was there to save the snooze fest.
And just think when he got over there, like his first appearance was with The Rock.
First,
Like,
and had to insult
I mean,
him in the whole
they should,
show, in the whole locker room.
yeah, yeah. He said he has some real heat too, because them guys was kind of like, they was, even though a lot of the
Once,
boys knew each other, but it was like they still had that WCW thing going on. So, it was different when guys from WWF went over to WCW,
yeah,
like the Hogans and the Savages and stuff. But when it was a WCW guy moved over to WWE or WWF, whatever it was at that particular time, they 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 caught a lot of heat in the locker room.
mm,
And somebody like a Jericho, you hear him he tell you in all his podcast interviews, and like he said, he had real heat. Like they wasn't too friendly with that guy at first, So
right,
and just think your first night with the company, and he was a cruiserweight over there at WCW. He wasn't even
right,
like, they didn't even give him a chance to be what he ended up being in WWE,
right,
first undisputed champion in the business, with the company.
yeah,
So he went from being a cruiserweight hanging with Ralphus to first night, you in there with The Rock?
right. You went, heck yeah,
Wow.
and going toe to toe with him on the mic. Yeah,
Absolutely, bro.
I got two more I know, and then I'm good. So go on and
Go
shoot
ahead.
one or two more. We'll go, Mr.
You
McMahon.
go next one.
Mr.
Yeah,
McMahon.
yeah.
Mr.
Mr.
McMahon.
McMahon. Yes, sir.
What that feud with him and Stone Cold is going to go down in history as one of the most major, if they're allowed to mention McMahon later on.
Yeah, I know.
But that feud, the blue collar guy against his boss who's a quadrillionaire. That's real life,
Yeah,
dog.
who didn't want to beat their boss up? I mean,
Right. That's real life. Who didn't
if
want to
you're a
shoot the
boss,
bird?
shout out to the bosses. If you're an asshole boss though, like that movie Horrible Bosses,
Yeah.
screw you. If you're a boss and you a good boss, more power to you. We need more people like you out there. But
Right.
if you a boss and you an asshole that had no business being in charge of nobody, screw you. Straight
Right.
up.
But yeah,
Straight up.
turn the the stuff that he did and McMahon, the people that he, storylines, right, that he employed to do this and do. He's a horrible person, horrible human being, and just yeah, he's one of the biggest heels ever. You had a Mount Rushmore of heels. You had to put McMahon up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean longevity
I
too.
mean,
And
that's part of the reason why Stone Cold became so big. I mean, he was already over, like you said, because the people loved him. The whole, the business was changing. People
yeah,
start liking the bad guys, right?
right.
But if it wasn't for that, because again, we talk about the bosses. Who didn't, or till this day, there's somebody right there listening right now, probably like, man, I don't want to go work Monday because I hate my boss. I
I
wish I
don't want
could
to go to work Monday. I
Stone
want to do
Cold
this for a living.
stun his ass. Yeah, well, we'll get there,
Yeah,
but but you can't go to work and stun your boss.
right.
You know what I mean?
But maybe one
You got to
day.
pay them bills. So
Right,
maybe one day, but Stone Cold made it a reality for it. That's why we
right. You
loved
got
him
to
so much
live
because being this
vicariously through him,
right,
because he can do it. They're gonna
right,
lock him up, but he'll be back next Monday. You know what I'm saying?
right, right,
Right,
and of course that was the start of McMahon being a character
right.
with the show. So the Stone Cold thing set it off, but he was a major super duper heel throughout after that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just Stone Cold, but definitely the feud with Stone Cold
And what was
definitely
crazy was he was always the face announcer. You
right,
know,
right,
yeah, he was never did anything that had anything to do with being a heel before. Not on TV
right.
anyway. Yeah.
Well, we will have to mention, of course, the Stone Cold feud, but it really started with the screw job, which was
Oh,
a shoot,
absolutely.
which was a
Absolutely.
shoot. But
Absolutely it's a shoot.
the whole Brett when he did that, when he cut that promo,
Yeah.
he kind of really embraced being the villain.
Right.
He knew that was
He had
gonna
to. And if
sell
you think about it
tickets,
now, the
and
promises that were made, he had to do that. Because
right,
he told them, you're gonna take full responsibility for it. Deny everything. And we'll break down the screw job one of these
right,
days. Everybody done did it already, so we're not in a rush to do it, you know.
yeah,
But we will
yeah,
give our take
yeah.
on it. And, hey, sign me up for an hour to dog Bret Hart. I'm down.
It's gonna be a mixed review for me, but
Yeah.
that's another story one day.
Right.
All right, well, I'll throw one out there.
Okay.
This guy's probably my favorite wrestler ever. Definitely, if he's not my favorite, he's high on my list. And he became who he is today because of his heel run, and that is The Rock.
Okay.
And the people who don't
Yeah.
know, uh, The Rock, he debuted at, I can't remember what year Survivor Series. I think it was either 96 Survivor Series, if I'm not mistaken. Babyface, smiling, came
Yeah.
out there just
Rocky
cheesing
Maivia.
and Rocky
Yeah.
Maivia, which I'm sure everybody know who The Rock is, but father name was inspired by his father, Soul Man Rocky Johnson, who was one half of the first African American tag team champion in
With
WWF
Tony Atlas. Yeah.
history with Tony Atlas, and then also The Rock's grandfather on his mom's side of the family, High Chief Peter Maivia, who's Samoan. Again, we mentioned their whole family with Alpha and Sika and the ones that came behind them. Of course, The Rock was the second world champion of their descent,
Right.
because, of course, we mentioned Yoko earlier. But his career took off when they made him join the Nation. He had got
Right.
injured. The babyface thing wasn't working. So Vince decided to put him with the Nation. And Rock could tell you, if he didn't get a chance to cut that short promo, he may not never had got the Rock, because maybe they
Right.
probably wouldn't let him talk and be evolve as a character. But once he started talking, man, that was some great work that he did with the Nation.
Right.
With Farouk, aka Ron Simmons. I think
Yeah.
my favorite moment was when they had that promo and he gave D'Lo and Mark Henry those Rolexes.
Rolexes, yeah. And they gave
He gave
Ron Simmons that picture, that autograph picture here.
Yeah, that was classic, bro. That was,
Yeah.
and you saw the writing on the wall too, like, oh, they about to, it's about to be a new leader, they about to turn on him,
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was what kind of got him.
He was coming up with his catchphrases and the "it doesn't matter" and if you smell what the Rock is cooking, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Yeah, and of course he had the IC title at the time being too.
Had a major feud with Triple H, because they kind of was on the same trajectory,
right,
with the company at the time. It was competition, but they was both kind of rising at the same rate, at that time, even with the Nation and DX. The Triple H version of DX, not the original with HBK,
right,
China, and Raps and Riruba. We talking about Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, X Pac. That DX version of course, Triple H was always the leader, but he was feuding. They were faces at that time, though. DX was,
right,
and of course the Nation was heels. So but the Rock definitely something great, one of the best promos. We all agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, them promos is like, it didn't matter what he did in the ring. I mean, he could work because he athletic and stuff, but it didn't matter what he did in the ring. People want to hear him talk.
Right.
Face,
right,
heel,
they want to interact.
Whatever.
Yeah, they want to interact.
They want to interact.
Yeah,
they want to. I can look at his promos all day. Like right now, I'm on Instagram or something. Like all that old stuff will pop up, and every time it's a Rock promo, I'll be like, damn, I forgot about that, or I really forgot how good he was.
Right. Speaking of forgot how good he was, we'll do this one in last but definitely not least. All right, this will be our last one. Triple H.
Hell yeah.
Triple H. You talked about the picture in the dictionary earlier. If you put picture of bad guy wrestler in the dictionary, you could most definitely put Triple H's picture there with the mustache, the goatee with the middle part missing. Cerebral.
Yeah, when he had the chin.
Yeah. The stuff with of course the stuff with DX, all that, then the McMahon Helmsley era,
right.
But he was a major factor with DX, major, because he could really talk. He was doing most of the talking. HBK would be jumping around the ring, hopping around. He was doing most of the talking.
Before I say this, this is the 90's, and he was in the 90's, late 90's, just like The Rock. They was all kind of the same era. Of course, we both know Triple H had way more longevity than most of them. So he's another guy like Nate that he could be on this list in multiple decades.
Right.
So his super duper heel work, I think was kind of like more in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Even though he did like the whole McMahon, you know, I was like 99 and beyond. But my bold statement, and you people, you Triple H haters get mad all you want. Triple H is the greatest heel, my greatest heel, since I've been watching wrestling. I can't speak
Absolutely.
on
Absolutely.
the
Who you gonna
guys
put
who
in there to
broke
be
Bruno
better than that?
Martini.
Who's been more hated than that?
When he hit HBK with that sledgehammer, bro, we thought HBK back was jacked up for real.
Right. He's never gonna
I
wrestle
mean,
again now, for real.
yeah, I mean, and again, that was in the early 2000s, but we just Triple H definitely like. I mean, look at him now,
Yeah.
wrestler and
He lost.
character. But when people talk bad about him, and you know he only did that because he's he married Vince's daughter and all this other stuff, which you know that's part of the case. But as far as him positioning, but if he
Right.
wasn't who he was and didn't have a great mind for the business, he would have never got that far.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, and then for the people who tell he held people down, he probably got the worst WrestleMania record of any superstar in the business in the WrestleMania era. He probably got the
No,
worst WrestleMania. I mean, he let Batista beat him three pay-per-views in a row.
bro. I don't want to hear that mess. Maybe talking about he hold him back and all that stuff. Just like you said, but we sit there and counted. We went right 5 WrestleManias in a row. This man was straight losing.
Dude, he tapped out the Chris Benoit run. Cena WrestleMania 22. He was hurt WrestleMania 23.
Right.
24, he had it was like a triple threat with him, Randy, and Cena. He didn't win that one.
Mm-hmm.
He won 25 because that was the whole thing with Randy Orton, and
Right.
you know, he attacked, you know, the punt kick and all that kind of stuff. You know, and then after that, you know, like he beat Sheamus in 26 and lost to the Undertaker WrestleMania 27, lost to Undertaker again WrestleMania 28. He lost to Undertaker 3 times at WrestleMania 17. People forget about that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they wasn't really the streak thing. Wasn't really, it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing really until, you know, actually when he beat Nate at WrestleMania 18. Talking about Undertaker, that's when he started. When he actually to the camera was like, you know, I mean, WrestleManias I won. So, but Triple H, like anybody who talked bad about that guy, everybody had their own opinion, but we're not on that train. He is worshipped around here, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
like
perfect one to
you
stop
know,
on right there. But yeah, greatest
yep.
heel of all time, I think. It is multiple heel turns that you could talk about. Real creative, really funny, you know, but also had that ridiculous mean streak that a heel has to have, you know.
Right.
And not always about backing down. It's about going after him. You look at Flair was always, you know, backing down the corner, put his hands up, but he always came with that low
Right.
blow or something. Like everything is coming with that. Like it's not just, oh man, I think I made a mistake. Let's shake hands and I'll just lose this money. You know what I'm saying?
Dirtiest player in the game, Nate.
Right. So yeah, man, what a good one to end it on. Hey man, just another little deep dive that we just went into 90's Heels on episode 7 of Welcome to Wrasslin. We'll be returning next week every Monday at 12 at noon. And yeah, it's Welcome to Wrasslin. Episode 7.
Real quick.
Yeah, go
Real
ahead.
quick. Super Bowl is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
give your prediction. So we don't know again. This episode will air Monday at noon.
Yeah.
Super Bowl gonna be
So
over by then.
right, and
But you will
it's
hear
Sunday
our
morning
prediction. So
about
you could be like, ooh. So you could be like, ooh, you were wrong, or ooh, you was right. So who you
right,
got, bro?
and it is Sunday at about 1:30 in the morning. That's why my head keep nodding because I've been up
Yeah.
since 5 o'clock this morning. But I'm going with Philly, man, and it's
Okay.
gonna have to be something that happens to where you know it's gonna be have to be like a 2 touchdown type thing.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want it to be close. You don't want it to be close. It's gonna have to be like 2 touchdowns. So the
Well,
defense gonna have to come to play. Uh, we're gonna see how the calls go and all that because my boy Jalen Hurts will tuck that thing and take off. So we'll see how the hits and stuff go. But it's bittersweet. You've been waiting 2 weeks for it. Last football game of the season until September. So get a little preseason in August, but football season goes so fast. That's the only thing
yeah,
but you can't expect the
it's
guys to sit
it's
there and play 22 games or nothing like that. You know,
it's depressing for me when after the
right?
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
But my prediction, it's hard for me to bet against the Chiefs and Mahomes. So I'm
yeah,
gonna go with the Chiefs. I want Philly to win, and I
yeah.
think the key to the game is the running game. Obviously, now Spagnolia, the Chiefs defense coordinator, just like I'm sure all the other defense coordinators, their main goal is to stop the run.
Right,
So if Jalen is on top of his game and hitting AJ Brown, Smith, and Goddard tight end,
hmm
then they might be raising the trophy. I also agree with you where it needs to be. It can't be a close game. Meaning it can be close, but they have to probably be up by like 10 or something. Because
right,
if it's a touchdown game or they up 3 or something, Mahomes makes the play.
right. And we're not
I
talking about
mean,
referees and all that stuff. We're just talking about past games
yeah,
where, yeah, we're not talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Yeah,
We'll talk about all that next
he
week.
makes the plays. So I just I'm kind of torn too, man, because I was upset when Buffalo lost. Like I
Yeah,
was. It was like I was a Buffalo fan. I'm straight diehard Falcons fan.
you're
But
right.
when when Buffalo lost, I that grinded my gears, man, because I don't want to see a whole nother year of State Farm commercials and all this other stuff with Patrick Mahomes. But now that they got there, though, I kind of now I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Go ahead, 3P. Let's make history then. Just go ahead and do
Right.
it. Just go
Let's
ahead
see
and do
something we've never seen before.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, but I do want to feel it. So, again, I'm picking Kansas City, but I want Philly to win.
right,
That's my take
right.
on it.
Yeah, it's like if you was a betting man, but you was like, I'm gonna go with the sure thing instead of going out here taking this long shot.
I will say a key, of course, we mentioned stopping the run for the Chiefs, but Chris Jones, he's going to be the one that's going to, if they can stop the run, it's going to be because he can disrupt anything. Dude is an amazing defensive lineman,
Right.
and I know he just one guy, but he made
But
plays.
still, one guy can make an impact.
Yeah, and I mean he's get double teamed and still make plays. And of course, Philly has someone like him, a younger version of him on their side of Jalen, was Carter.
Carter, yeah.
So yeah, so but he don't line up like Chris Jones can line up at end. They move him around. They let Carter pretty much play one spot You know, he's always over like the right guard
Right.
or something. but Chris Jones, like he's all over, you know, so they can kind of do more with him to disrupt things. Not that Philly can't do that with Carter, but they don't do that with Carter. Which Philly probably
Right.
they have a better offensive line, and they probably overall has a better defensive line. They have a better line of scrimmage, but Chris Jones is definitely a problem. So,
Right.
but you know, but hey, that's my take on it. That's our take on the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna give a score. I'm just gonna go Philly. I want to see them win it. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm tired of seeing this too. And that's when I kind of get where people come from, you know, about the Alabama hate and stuff, you know, kind of got tired of seeing them win and everything.
Yeah.
Same with the Patriots.
I wish. Yeah, I wish the people were tired of the Falcons. I wish that.
Right.
You know, because that means y'all tired of us winning. We kicking y'all ass.
Right.
You know, so shout out to Alabama. You know what I mean? You know I'm not a Roll Tider.
Roll Tide.
I got much respect. I got much respect for y'all team. And I know the Georgia fans be pissing you off and all that. But that's because y'all own them. Y'all, even this year, y'all had the worst team
Right.
a decade or so. And y'all still be Georgia.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
Couldn't be Vanderbilt, but we beat Georgia though.
Yeah, we beat Georgia.
Right.
Damn right. You know, so.
Well, we made it through, dog. Episode 7. I was so tired, man. I'm telling you, I'm about to fall out. So, but it's been a fun one.
All right.
We'll be back. We'll definitely be back next week. And episode 8. It'll be great. And we'll be talking to you soon. It's Welcome to Wrasslin. Like,
Welcome to Wrasslin.
subscribe, do it all. We need you. Love you.
Welcome to Wrasslin, Chetty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the PODCAST, tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure 4. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash straight to the face. I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrasslin where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrasslin where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me.